And CEO of Mmakau Mining, also one of the first black producers, so been in this industry for quite a while. A very good morning to you. Thank you so much for your time.
Good morning.
Talk to us about some of the highlights of the Mining Lekgotla this year.
I think, first of all, I first wanted to express my dissatisfaction, and it's just unfortunate that when the Mining Lekgotla is organized, all stakeholders are not being collectively together in terms of organizing collectively. I'm actually one of those people that initiated and started the Mining Lekgotla at the time when I was the deputy chair of the Minerals and Energy Department that advised the Minister of Mines. The chairperson was the Director General. And we had all stakeholders involved. For instance, Congress of Traditional Leaders. There's no point in having a Lekgotla and you don't invite the chairperson of the traditional leaders, because they represent the rural communities where all the stakeholders live that are working in the mines. And where the mines are, that's where the mines are. And how do you make major decisions on mining economy and mining development without embracing those people? I mean, South African Mining Development Association, which is the chamber that I formed many years ago and I'm the president of. It's a company, it's a chamber that represents companies that have an asset base of 50 million to 7 billion. And we need to have a collective approach. But I must say, the minister and the department went out of the way to try and embrace that and invite everybody. So, unfortunately, I have to start with that. We need a Mining Lekgotla where everybody gets involved. Where even the AMCOs are even invited. You can't have a session. I'm not sure whether they were invited and they chose not to come. But, you had a panel where the minister was with other mining stakeholders. And we need also their voice, because unless we do what Mandela did in a CODESA approach, whether it's privately or publicly, we will never be able to solve the industry problems. However, to the highlights, it's 2014, the Charter Compliance year. And charter compliance is what I think everybody should be looking at. There's no point in trying and beat about the bush. Charter compliance is very simple. There has to be not less than 26% ownership by 2014 by the historically disadvantaged South Africans. Who are they? Community trusts. Rural communities own shares in those mines. Employers own shares in those mines. Business trusts own shares in the mines. These are black people. And you also have women in mining, youth in mining, disabled people. So it's not just one and two people. But you have a situation this year where we have the historical disadvantage of members of South Africa not being part of the economic emancipation of the majority of our people.
Why is that? I want to know from you. Deadline is this year. It seems clear-cut and black and white, but it's not happening. Why?
The why is very simple. There's an act, there's a charter. There's Section 100 of the act, Minerals and Petroleum Resources Development Act, that says the following. There has to be a mining charter. The charter says the following: equity participation, unencumbered net value, ownership without debt. If you have ownership, like you and I or anybody else that might be having ownership that has not been paid for, you stay in a car, you drive a car, you live in a house, and you claim it's my house. Wait, come alive. The car or the house only becomes yours when you've paid it up 100%. Come the day that you have not paid, you have a problem. Now that ownership profile is very distorted. 2014, you have a situation where, look at the 49 listed companies in South Africa. They are worth 2.574 trillion. And you find that in the 2.574 trillion, if each and every company in the top 49 listed company in South Africa in the JSE index, and there are more than 49 listed companies in South Africa. But if those companies all have 26% unencumbered net value, you would have had a situation where black people of South Africa and South Africa Pty Limited would have had at least the ownership profile of 669 billion. You don't have that. You only have an ownership profile of 63.9 billion. So that starts like that. Secondly, housing and living condition. Informal settlements occur. So we have now replaced the hostels with squatter camps. And we are supposed to create housing and living conditions for workers. Employment equity, the target for 2014 was about 40%. You don't find black people in middle management and upper management that 40%.
And it's rather unfortunate for that. Unfortunately, we've run out of time. This is something that we're going to need a bit longer to discuss, because you did mention that you've been in this game for far too long, and it's the same thing again and again that recurs. So questions are being asked now, 2 years after the Marikana incident. Are the lives of mine workers today any different than when they were 2 years ago? So that's an ongoing discussion that we really need to look at to prevent future trouble as well and right to the wrongs of the past. Unfortunately, we have run out of time. Thank you so so much for joining us. Bridgette Radebe is the Executive Director and CEO of Mmakau Mining. And with that, let's take a look.